Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I welcome you to this second session of Growth Series. After the successful completion of the first lecture by Nitin Singala on the corporatization of CA practice, we have a learned speaker, CA Saumil Shah, who will be taking us through today's topic of building the next gen CA firms. Traditional practices generally have some of their bottlenecks with respect to, say, leadership or client acquisition and client relationships. Many a times the change in leadership which is supposed to be happening in many of the CA firms is that there is some kind of a bottleneck. The owner driven firms generally don't tend to shift their leadership to the younger generation or to the next leadership, and that is why many times CA firms get stuck up in one of the stratas, and they don't try to grow, or they don't try to get future ready, or building a next gen CA firms. So that is why we thought of keeping this topic for today's session. Without much ado, I would request the chairman of the practice management committee, CA Paras Saula, to address the gathering. Thank you. Is Paras Bhai there? Hello? Hello? Paras Maru,
Yeah.
one second, he is not
He
able
is
to
not able
unmute
to
himself.
unmute. Just
Yeah.
Ankur, can you check why he is not able to unmute?
Yes, Paras Bhai can unmute himself.
Yeah. Yes,
Hi
Paras.
everyone, good evening. Today's speaker is Mr. Saumil Shah, President of the Association, Harsh Dedia, and the convener Paras Maru. As President said that this is the second uh, talk in our series on the practice development, and we have the speaker Mr. Saumil Shah, who has a huge experience uh, in this area. Uh, the the importance of topic is such that we, as a catalyst to growth, we want to look into it. The growth of the CA firm, we want to look beyond the compliance, how to shift from the strategic to the strategic advisory business transformation, use of technology, importance of technology, leveraging on automation. Then uh, it is a time where we want to, at the times that we should have uh, the team members should not only the chartered accountant but from the multidisciplinary field, what is required is the unlearning something and relearning new things, the client centric approach, and how agile we are, and we are able to scale up the practice. These are the few things which as a uh, catalyst to growth we should be looking into it. And to speak on some of the pointers, we have the today's speaker who will we will throw some light on it. Although this is a continuous process, we can't learn everything in the 45 minutes or 1 hour session, but this will certainly give you food for thought for each and everyone who can start developing on this. Let's be a very fruitful learning to each of you, and we'll look forward some of the participants can make their firm with the global outlook and local expertise on this. With this, back to the organizers.
Yeah. Thank you, Paras bhai. Before we move on, I request CA Vipra Sayya to introduce our today's learned speaker.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Paras Bhai. So, Saumil sir is a seasoned business development and growth strategy advisor with over 25 years of professional experience. He has worked across all spectrums: accounting, transactions, legal, tax, M&A, and outsourcing. His distinctive knowledge about firms in India and overseas, helping them scale, innovate, helping them scale, innovate, and build stronger relationship with clients. Saumil sir is known for his expertise in strategic alliance, market expansion, and new service development with a strong track record of enabling services to penetrate in various high value sectors like renewable energy, venture capital, family offices, and private equity. A certified proxy change management practitioner and an XLRI senior executive program alumnus, Saumil sir combines strategic insight with practical result oriented execution, making him a sought after advisor for firms aiming to achieve sustainable growth in competitive market. We welcome Saumil Shah sir. Back to Paraspal.
Yeah, thank you, Vipra. And before starting with the presentation, I request CA Umang Gada, Umang Soni to present a certificate of appreciation.
It's a pleasure, Saumil sir, to present a memento to you, which will be delivered to your place, for taking this valuable time and really appreciate. And I'm sure all our participants will be eager to hear from you. And without taking much of our time, request you to please accept our token of appreciation.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Umang. Yes, Saumil bhai, you can start with your presentation.
Good evening, and thank you. I would call it in a short form CBOCA. Thank you for giving me this opportunity and being here with you all on this journey of growth. Thank you, both the Paras chairman and Paras Maru. Thank you, Umang. Thank you, Vipra, for your kind introduction, kind words. Uh, it is a pleasure to be here. Uh, Growth is my favorite subject. It is my passion. Uh, I must tell you that I have Paras here who has seen me over a period of years. So thank you again, Paras bhai, for giving me this opportunity. I'm trying to give a different perspective today of something new that even you will hear. What I'm going to cover is broadly four aspects. One is on leadership mindset, client relationship, new offerings, and basically the technology. So I want to give you practical things what some of the firms have done, and we'll be more than happy to help you understand these areas, and open to question answers towards the end, or even if in between you want to post a question. Um, Paraswara, how do you want me to do it? Do you want me to take it towards the end, or we can continue in between?
Yeah, we can take questions at the end.
Okay. So let's go ahead with the slides then. So first we're talking of a leadership mindset, and in the growth story, this mindset becomes very, very, very important, because the growth vision that we talk about has to be clear. It should have a very inspiring direction that goes not just with the leaders but also down to the team. So if the vision of the firm or the growth vision of the firm is not given to the rock bottom level, somewhere we are going to miss out on the mindset that we are talking about. Second point is the adaptability. You know, whenever we are making a change, whenever we are bringing something new, we are adopting to that new. Uh, when the market changes, when the regulator brings new areas, new things, how quickly or how easily we are able to adopt or ability to pivot with the market shift is the line I would use. But answer to it is simple. How agile or how open are we to adopt to the changes that the regulator is bringing in the leadership? And leadership is at all levels, right? A car driven by a person, we call him a driver, is also a leader because he's leading the way, he's navigating the car. To a managing partner of a firm, he's leading the firm to take it to the next level. To a manager who's leading an assignment to deliver and ensures that the client gets the deliverables on time and with quality. So all this is coming from leadership, but actually it comes from empowerment. You give that area of developing the leadership or the decision and ownership to that person to help him drive the car, navigate the car to the destination that you want to reach, to that particular person who's going to ensure that the client has the quality and the delivery on time and manages all the issues that comes into it while he's trying to deliver quality and timeliness of the deliverables of the assignment. It's all about empowerment. And we do this very regularly, but we don't realize it till somebody comes and tells us that you are not empowering or you are empowering. Lastly, the accountability culture. When you are given the delegation, ownership, or decision making, when you are able to adopt, when you are able to see the vision and drive according to the vision or the goal set for you, you have to be looking at the accountability, which is basically your performance and results. Or as you all have this word in your mind, it's ROI. Whenever you are coming to a change, bringing a leadership, bringing development, bringing growth, you need to be responsible and you need to be conscious of the return on that particular investment of time and efforts that you're making. So accountability becomes very key. I want to bring an example to you by a case study of an international firm. This firm re-entered India in 2014 after few not so good partner or not so full accounting firm member it had in the past. But when they came in 2014, they came with a clear vision to target mid-market segment and to grow in that particular segment. It empowered all its regional leaders, means, the office manager or the office managing partner or the office leader for Delhi, for Bangalore, for Hyderabad, for Chennai, for Pune. It empowered them to drive and make client decisions in that region. It hired senior partners from big six firms to give them the ability and the skills to deliver to the clients. And what they achieved was rapid multi-city expansion and strong market share, truly becoming an alternative to the big four. Here, what we understand is that leadership was at the branch, leadership was at every new partner who came in, leadership was at the vision that the new international firm that came into India was building, and most importantly, learning from the past. So this is a example for leadership mindset for you. Client relationships often misunderstood as client relationship management or client delivery management or client management. But client relationships is a little different than these words that I spoke to you about. You know, whenever we are looking at a client, trust becomes very critical. We go and promise a lot of things to the client, and only when we are trusted advisors, we are able to consistently deliver in the right way. Proactiveness, again with the client, helps you strengthen the relationship by anticipating and addressing the needs the client may have. Relationship mapping, you know, which person from your firm is interacting with which person of the client organization, and ensuring that you are nurturing the key influencers and identifying the right kind of people in the client office to deliver what you want to. So, relationship mapping with your firm, however small it is still important that more than one person is linked with the other, and ensuring that the identification and the nurturing is happening. Client advocacy. We are a firm of professionals, and advocacy becomes our bread and butter many a times. So, and I will have a larger example on the advocacy in the near future, in the future slides that we are talking about. So, here again, if you look at your clients, and rather than just engaging with them and delivering with them, if you can convert them as promoters of your organization and your service, that is the best thing that can happen for you. A leading legal firm, which was a little bit of struggling in its growth, decided to change the way they were functioning. And what they did was they mapped relationships at different levels in the legal firm with different levels of the client. A legal firm works a little differently than an accounting firm or other professional firms, because they all work in silos. Each partner or each leader or each person leads the relationship with the client at its own level. And then that person becomes the client relationship partner or manager and does not really look at holistically. So here is what we bring the holistic angle for the first time in a legal firm. The, the firm also hosted private CXO roundtables, bringing the relevant partners and the CXOs from the client offices for deeper engagement and building the relationship. The firm secured repeat mandates for high value transactions because of the CXO level interaction. They really got long term retainers from top business houses because they were able to leverage the relationship across the spectrum. In your case, even though we are mid-sized firms, we are two partner, three partner. If we have a particular client, which we call it a key account, and we want to focus on it, then it's important to build relationship at the multiple levels. If you don't have three partners, but you are one senior partner and you have one manager and one executive, then that hierarchy should follow with the client also, where you are in touch with the promoter and the finance head, and your manager is in touch with the client's manager level person, and the executive with the client's executive level person. That also works very well. So mapping the multiple level client is also very, very important to deepening the relationship and ensuring you will be able to drive value or repeat mandates or deeper client relationship, ensuring more business from the same client. New offerings. As a professional firm, we see regularly a lot of changes coming in because the regulator has been bringing about new changes and hence resulting in new offerings for us or new service offerings to our clients. Now, how often do we really pay attention and are market listening? We need to be little fast and quick to capture emerging client needs early. Say, for example, last week we heard about the new direct tax code, and unfortunately, it is not rolling through this time. Otherwise, it was tabled in the parliament, and if it was getting rolled on, then we had to be ready to explain to our clients that what does the new direct tax code mean to them and how and where they need to pay attention from their business point of view. So paying attention and capturing the emerging client needs is very critical. Sometimes the client's business drives us to do that. Say, for example, Tata as a group has recently come into semiconductor, and it's a large ticket item. But there are a lot of players that may be your clients who are addressing the Tata semiconductor needs and going where Tata is already there, which is in Gujarat, Dholera. So we need to see if our client is one of the service providers to Tatas and hence help them understand the semiconductor ecosystem and the taxability and other requirements for them to be in that region by telling the client how fast or how easy it is to do it by we studying the regulations and explaining them how we can help them. Innovation, you know, whether it is tech driven or it is non-tech driven. Valuing innovation, creating differentiated high impact services is the key today. Now, you will say that in our service, what is the innovation we bring? So please keep in mind that if we were traditional in our approach, we would still be filling up the tax form and filing the return physically and not online. The department changed, but before the department adopted to the online version, a lot of us were using tools, computer and systems and processes to improvise on our preparation and filing of return process. If we are able to bring more technology or more process and systems to minimize our risk of errors and to improvise on our quality and our timely delivery, we would give value to our clients. This pilot and scale is a very classic example, and specifically even for us mid-sized players, where we keep getting these examples from client and we do it for one without realizing it, and then we don't know how to take it to the next level. I am going to run an example specifically on this and we'll cover it in the pursuant slide. Lastly, the lowest hanging fruit for new offerings is cross-selling. Now, giving an example of any new area that is coming up. Say, for example, changes in the GST or the GST law being introduced in the country. We were all doing service tax for client, excise for client. Some of us were not doing service tax excise, were only doing direct tax for the client or were doing statutory audit for the client. And now we have to do GST. So we went to our client, we created our expertise and told our client that, look, we are developing our expertise on GST and we will be able to manage it. The client was happy to give us work rather than bringing in a new firm or a new team to help them comply with GST. So we, from statutory audit, from tax compliance, direct tax compliance, we were able to get work of GST compliances also from the client. Now, what if we had not approached the client, or what if we had not told our client proactively that we can do GST for you? The client would have given work to somebody or whoever would have come into their office to pitch for that GST work. The example I want to give you is of an aspirational mid-size firm which was going to start its cybersecurity as an emerging service way back in 2016. See, they were a very small boutique firm, but they realized that one of their employees moved on and developed some very strong expertise on cyber. He did CISA, ISA, etc., etc. And then he wanted to come back to the firm, and the managing partner of the firm, the founder managing partner of the firm, said that if you have the ability to look at this as a service, why not do it here with us? So he came back to the firm and he started the cybersecurity as an emerging growth area way back in 2016. The world was not even following it. Today, it is very much in demand. Today, it is regulated by, it is demanded by the regulators to have the companies with their cybersecurity compliances, etc. What this person did because of his skills and expertise, he became part of the regulators and developed the cyber risk framework for the Indian regulations. And he became part of the core team, withstanding a lot of pressure coming from the larger firms, but still able to manage and deliver value even at the regulators' core meetings. The firm had its challenge on bringing the relevant skills and people. So, what the firm did, it cross trained its audit and other teams for cyber audits. Even if the team was not ready, it started training them internally rather than going and looking for people in the market which were not available. So that's how they started the practice. One young aspirational entrepreneur mindset, and picked up a new offering which was going to come into the Indian regulatory system for companies to comply with, and then went back to his firm to develop it and make it a big practice for the firm. He created new revenue stream in 2 years where he had a team of 5 middle level and a 10 junior level team with a revenue of 2.5 crores 2 years time. And this firm was only 40 people when in 2016 they started this. These are all live case studies I am talking to you about, or real case studies that we have seen in the past. So, what happens when you want to do something in a new offering kind of an example? So, you say, for example, we take the same point of cybersecurity. You know the regulations have come in, you know the companies have to look at it, comply, but you don't know where to go, how to go. So you will pick up that experience, limited experience, and you will go and research and test market in India. You will start talking to the people that you know. Okay, these are my areas. This is what I understand about cybersecurity. And by talking to few people, you will be able to generate product and service offerings because they will tell you what they exactly need, and you will also understand who can be your possible client or a suspect client. Second stage comes valuable inputs for growth. When you're meeting the suspects and you're creating the meeting the prospects, you are actually doing operational sales or growth inputs and market intelligence. Here, you are able to really give valuable inputs for growth, where you tell your clients how your service is going to benefit them, how your service is going to bring value to them, and how your product or service is going to meet with the regulator requirements. Lastly, you convert from prospect to client, delivering in sales. So if you pick up an offering and go to a client in three phases, where you first identify the prospects by going and meeting your existing clients and telling them that, look, I am starting a new offering, which is cybersecurity, which is relevant for you or applicable to you, to going for your valuable inputs for growth and really creating a reputation and relationships of telling them your capabilities and market intelligence, which you've learned from stage one, and delivering to the client, leading to sales. This is my kind of journey for some of the offerings we launched in the past. And we created a marketplace for the mid-sized firm to be able to deliver to the client effectively. Now, this part of it is really where the business development or the growth elements are. Deepening relationship is not just about going and meeting the clients again and again. Deepening relationship is about understanding the client and its businesses, where they come from, what are they doing, how are they doing, how is their business impacted in the current situation. So, which means helping them understand, but learning about their industry and then bringing strategic inputs based on those industry trends to the clients. We are not teaching the client about their business, we are understanding their business. So when you are talking to the client, if client has a business problem, you know whether this is an industry problem or this is a client specific problem, and you know how to deal with it. As a SME firm, we many a times don't realize that we can actually bundle a lot of our service, or many a times we bundle our service to the client and give them solution rather than just one-off kind of service. It is called integrated service packages, or what we call is a solution driven offering. This is very, very common in mid-sized firms or SME firms, because the client knows us well. We've really understood the client very well. We've grown with the client as the client businesses grow. We also grow with the client by offering them more and more as the client requirements increases. We are with them in that journey. And the client wants to be us to be with them because we have understood their business and how they are growing it. Every step of their journey, we are with them. Hence, our offering is wide and it becomes a solution to the client. And believe me, this kind of offering, even the big four can't beat us, or the larger firms can't beat us, because the relationship is strong, not just because of delivery, but because we understand clients' business more than others. I mentioned to you about different levels of engagement. Now, when you as a SME firm are wanting to deal with larger clients or larger corporates or multinationals or foreign companies coming into India and setting up, please keep in mind the executive level or the CXO level connections that you have to make. I had one interaction with Paras by Paras Savlai here, so I want to bring his example. We were talking to one client, and the client said, how much will this cost? Now, because we had levels of interaction with 3, 4 different level of connections with CXOs, we could quickly understand what is their fee appetite and what is that they are looking at us. So sometimes by engaging at CEO level, not just at CFO level, or also at the India CEO, India Managing Director level, or also at the Chief Compliance or the Chief Legal Officer or the General Counsel of the Indian company or the foreign company in India. By having different perspectives, we are able to build the engagement in the right way for the client. Lastly, the client success metrics. Howsoever deep you have relationship, if you are not able to benchmark your success metrics, you will somewhere lose out on that relationship or you will get overconfident. It's important to have that check-in by measuring not by any scientific method, but by having a regular interaction and making sure that you are also celebrating some of the client wins with your client community and they are aware of how you are progressing in your journey. As professional firms, we don't solicit, but we can always celebrate our development and growth with our client, not by showcasing and announcing broadly, but by celebrating it by engaging with them and informing them on a one-to-one basis as how we have developed and what are the things that we are doing. A very live example of a big six firm, which gets difficult, but they are large, but I still wanted to give you because it is an SME kind of an example. Because many clients only use them for statutory audits, and you would have seen that a lot of our clients, when we are an SME firm, we do only one kind of engagement with the client. When we started interacting with the boardroom and the other team members, the sales head, the production head, the supply chain management head, the CEO, and others, we were able to understand a lot of insights on the client development and growth. And while we were able to understand from them as an SME firm, as a mid-sized firm, or what happened in the big six firm, we were able to give them the insights. Okay, look, this is the role I can play here, or this is what I can help you with. However small or big, since the client understands you and knows you well, it was easy for them to talk to us and relate to us and tell us that can you do more than what you're currently doing. So one insight was they bundled the advisory and not just tax compliance or tax checks for us. They gave us the advisory work also. That increased the share of wallet by 30% from audit clients using technology and tools. Now, here is the second example. By understanding the client and telling them that, look, things are changing, AI is the new mantra, by engaging with the tech team of the client, the CTO and the CIOs, we were able to bring some technology and tools adaptation in the client offices, which the client appreciated, and that increased my revenue also. This is again an example of an SME firm. At one point of time, when you are engaging with the client, there is a business issues on the y-axis and there is depth of relationship on the x-axis. When you start the relationship with the client, you are subject matter expert. Then over a period of time, you will get into an affiliated field where the client will start talking to you, thinking that you understand their business. Then they will start asking you about valuable information and start validating certain facts and certain mindsets or certain views and opinions from you because they see you as a valuable resource. And finally, over a period of year, 2 year, we become their trusted expert. This is the story, and I am sure, isn't this our journey as well? We all have gone through this with our clients over a period of time. Specifically, tech driven initiatives, I want to cover separately, and I wanted to talk about it because now technology is all about what the firms are talking and firms are growing with. They introduce a centralized CRM system, and I must tell you, they had a centralized system to track leads, clients, touch points. They gave real dashboards for pipeline visibility and accountability, enable data driven decision along the leadership empowerment. Now I want to turn this around into an SME structure. If this was a live case study, so I have to put it here, but I want to adopt this case study to an SME scenario. And I want to tell them, if you don't have a CRM, can you have a simple tracking Excel sheet which talks about your leads and clients, where you have done what with your leads, how often have you engaged with them, and once they are your client, what are your touch points with the client after that? Can you monitor this on a simple Excel sheet? Yes. You don't need real time dashboards. That can give you data from your pivot itself on pipeline visibility and accountability. You don't need fancy dashboards, or you can take a simple Power BI dashboard which can sit on your Excel to churn that data without much of an expense. Lastly, how easy it is for you to understand the trends and analysis from your dashboard to say, this is what is working for me and I should focus on this, and this is not what is not working for me. The answer to this whole case study is data driven tech initiative, so that when you put some data using technology, you will get a meaningful output and you will be able to adopt and make some more sense and help the firm or yourself grow in the right way. This is a, a case study of an Indian firm which had international offices. Now, because they were international presence, and in those countries, the NPS, I don't know how many of you all know what NPS is. It's Net Promoter Score. And don't go by the word, it's not Net Promoter Score of what the promoter is scoring you, but actually it means how your clients are rating you in terms of customer service. And professional services benchmarked by various NPS agencies today abroad regularly. Or you can also say checking on the health score algorithms in CRM to identify upsell opportunities. Upsell or cross sell is the same meaning. Now, when we do an NPS and the client is very happy with you, can you turn that client into a promoter? And what does a promoter mean? I'm going to go back to the slides that I spoke to you about and just get you to remember. Last point here, client advocacy, turn clients into promoters. So this is where the NPS score helped, where they were able to understand that my client is actually helping me by talking about my service to a lot of his or her circle of relationships, which is giving me work and hence helping me build more service or larger service offerings. When we gave these data driven insights reports using business intelligence tools for audit clients, we became the strategic advisor. Now, you remember when we are doing assurance services, if we are able to bring analysis and are telling them the trends and how their cycle is, specifically revenue cycle management, supply chain management, order to cash. Some of these are driven from audit processes, but now are used in internal audit and are used in process improvement. All this data driven, if you look at a decade ago, was not available. People were doing it manually by benchmarking and building it. Today, AI does a lot of this, and you can actually build value for your clients. And hence, you can not just do traditional audit services, you can do data driven business intelligence advisory for your clients also by using the right tools and processes. To give you in a nutshell, or to conclude in a nutshell, if you bring discipline, it will lead to habits. If you build those habits consistently, they will lead to growth. This is my mantra and this is my message to you for this session. Thank you very much. I'm open to questions.
So the participants can put their questions in the chat box. And meanwhile, we have received some questions earlier. So I will just take few of them. So one question is, the biggest challenge for growth is talent retention, and another challenge is client loyalty is missing in new generation.
So talent retention, I'm not an expert, but I will give you my piece of experiences on talent retention. So if we have a right kind of induction programs for articles and managers, we are able to build the growth journey with them. And if you build the same talent by engaging them at different levels of your organization and the client's organization, the team feels much more involved in the overall process and are able to stay longer because they are involved with the client and the firm longer. That is one example I can give you on talent retention. But having a good induction program and training program and a regular project or team development program right from article or articleship works wonders, and that helps in talent retention. The other point I will tell you on talent retention is spotting the champions. Every firm, every batch of people has one champion, one star that one sees. If you can spot that champion, you can spot that star, you need to ensure that you are giving him the trajectory, the growth area of learning and development, and giving him the right leadership positions at various levels to help and to retain him in your firm. The cybersecurity example I gave you, somebody who was so good that he went out of the way while working in the firm to do CISA and ISA. And then he told the managing partner that I want to start the cybersecurity firm here. And in 2 years' time, he became a partner. I have various examples like this. So please keep an eye open and spot the champion, spot the star. Answering to your second question, Parasbhai, is on client uh, loyalty. Well, your engagement will bring the loyalty also. How you interact and how many levels you interact, that builds that loyalty program. If you treat the client as your own and you build understanding the client, you will be able to bring loyalty. I will ask you, how often do you see your clients moving out? Whoever has put this question, if you tell me that your client is moving out year on year and you're losing out on client, then I think you need to build a client interaction and a client engagement program to ensure that the client is aware what you're doing and you know what the client is expecting. So a monthly check-in if a client is vulnerable, or a 3 months, 6 months check-in with a client of having an interaction with the client to ensure everything is well and going smooth is important to retain that client and to improve the loyalty. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes. So there is one more question. How to identify leaders from the Gen Zs, and what would we be different about this leadership?
Okay. So the most important leadership I can say Paras Bhai is here, leading an example, hosting a webinar, researching on a subject, writing an article, picking up an area of work by bringing a technology tool or developing a small technology, something that he was working by creating macros himself, by writing a small script to turn around some work that he's doing, which can be automated. These are various instances that you have to spot them, and you should keep those kind of challenges open in the firm. So by regularly, I will give one example of a firm which had uh, I can't name the program that they had, but I will just tell them it was called the Gen Z program, and the Gen Z program was to tell the youngsters, anybody who has innovation, anybody who has disruption, anybody who has a new area of service work solution should come up with a plan and an example. He may not have tried with the client, but an internal example to start with works. So this was a regular yearly project for all the employees and an open platform to say who is the innovator, who is the disruptor, who is the Gen Z of the year, and giving them these awards and recognitions, and giving them the platform to develop it if you really make sense and if you think this is the innovation that the firm wanted. Sometimes you cannot absorb that innovation, then you let that innovation go to a larger funding or let it go outside for a larger piece. But at least you've recognized and identified. And this is somebody's doing it. I must tell you, there is a firm which does this awards year on year.
And I think there is a connecting question to that. What is the difference about that leadership? What are the leadership qualities which you see will be different in
So
the
that's
Gen
what
Z?
I said, Paras bhai, that this person is going to participate in the competition. He is going to come up with an example of an innovation or a disruption or a technology tool or a subject matter expert, or say that I am going to start cybersecurity practice. I am going to be starting the what you call TDS. So TDS is always a problem we have. GST reconciliation is a problem we have. Reconciliation generally is an issue. So I have come up with a solution for this kind of reconciliation. There is a tool outside, but this tool and my this process will make it 100% proof. So you have to spot these guys when they talk about it. And you know, being an SME firm, it's easy to spot. But please tell your managers and your layers of people that don't misunderstand them when somebody is coming and talking about it. Give them that here, give them that time to talk to you.
Uh, So there is one more question that many small firms struggle to scale beyond few partners. What is the single most important mindset shift needed for them to truly become a next gen CA firm?
Okay, I refer this to Sudit Parekh, my mentor, and I really respect him for teaching me this. And when I joined Sudit Bhai in the year 2000, I joined as a business development person, and even the Big Four didn't have BD people that time. I learned things the hard way. And then in 2010, I told Sudit Bhai that, sir, we are doing so much of advisory and consulting work. We should get one of these MBAs, and I can go to one of these MBA institutes and do campus interviews. We recruited IIT IIMs. They were IITs and who later on were in an IIM college. The firm recruited three of them as trainees who, after their graduation, joined the firm, and one went into valuation, one went into uh, what you call FDI, helping foreign companies come into India, and the third person went into areas related to uh, what we call is that transaction advisory, due diligence and that. Sudhit Bhai told me one thing, that don't get afraid of somebody coming and taking away your work. If you are part of the firm, you find your space and let somebody come and develop their space and hand over that space to that person and you move on. Or you create your space, let that person create his space. The moment we are insecure, we'll never let anybody else do our job. If Sudit Bhai was a single man and started the firm and he would have been alone, today SKP would have not been a 2000 people firm. It would have been a one partner sole proprietor firm. So to all the people who are here, don't get insecure, play wisely, think about it logically. Don't get married to your firm name, but look at onboarding young, energetic people. Look at onboarding partners who can lead the firm with you. Try to keep the firm name not as your name, but a universal name, which will help you onboard more people and partners. That is the mantra for building the firm to the next level. If you want examples, we have seen few alliances, one of them classically, three mid-sized firms of the country, Guru and Jana, Kirtane Pandit, and I think Sharma. Three of them joined together to become 65 people, 2,500 people team. And that alliance has been announced. If things go well, next year they will merge. There's another alliance between Gujarat and Mumbai was announced last week. But that's not an alliance, that's a merger. There are few mergers more coming up in the field. And we see the Prime Minister's office also pushing the firms to say that why can't you be the big four next? And why wait for a foreign company to come and become a big four? If you don't bring new partners, new managers, new areas, you will not grow. You are a leader, you will remain a leader. You draw your leadership skills and manage them to the growth. Don't worry and don't get insecure. There are people who will help mentor and train you to become leaders also. So there is mentoring, there is training, there is learning, there is development at all levels of life. Continue that process and you will be able to grow the firm to the next level. But insecurity is the first point where you will not grow. You have to come over that.
Yeah, true, true. So the next question is, in your experience, what is the most effective way for a small or a mid-sized CA firm to instill an accountability culture without creating a fear-driven environments?
So, I gave you that answer very much in the beginning of our slides, that you need to give them the space to perform and you can guide them. So, uh, if you periodically talk to your employees and give them the space of delivery, you will be able to instinct the culture of leadership in them. Rather than one very simple old school method is that when you face a problem, what do? You immediately give an answer to that person. ऐसा ऐसा करके हो जाएगा. Can you just pause and tell that person, what should we do? So Paras bhai, between us, I want to do a role play for everybody to understand. You had a question just now that how do I bring ownership and leadership skills to my people? I'm asking you a question, Paras bhai. What will you do in a situation like this? If the question comes to you,
Ownership and
you read the question, and what would you do? What is your view? How will you want to do it?
I mean, there is always this thing. So small firms, medium firms, we generally don't have that accountability culture on the employees. So whenever such things anyone tries to implement, the this thing, there is a fear amongst the employees. Okay, आजकल अभी से I have to answer, I will be accountable in that. So maybe how we can maybe overcome that.
You also face
Yeah.
this question, no? Somebody would have
Yeah,
instilled that leadership question on you, ownership
so,
question on you. How did you
yeah.
overcome that? What did you do?
So very best way to do is that you take up that ownership and take it as a challenge and uh, try to live up to that expectation and like that.
Okay, can we pause, Paras bhai?
Yeah,
I didn't want
yeah,
to put you on the spot. Sorry about this.
yeah, yeah.
But see, an interaction give you few insights. You went to your childhood also, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can read a little bit of. We have this expertise. So, this is how you train people. You ask them and help them open up. Help
Hmm.
them to say that school में तुम लीडर थे, कॉलेज में लीडर थे, वहां पे तुमने टास्क ओनरशिप किया है, अब लेने में डरना क्यों है? मैं तो बैठा हूं तुम्हारे साथ, फर्म तो मैं चला रहा हूँ, तुम क्या करना चाहते हो? यू टेक दैट आंसर, डिस्कस विथ मी, I will help you fine tune it. And if you are right, I'm not going to correct it. You're right. So let's go ahead with it. So that's the answer to this question. Ownership comes from the leaders to have and give confidence and build confidence for the second and the third tier. You need to give that interaction time. You need to give that testing time to that second and the third generation or the tier who's you're working with. You have to let them think a little bit. Don't push them too hard, but let them think a little bit. Give them some examples to think. Give them some cues to develop, and they will also have some answers to those problems that they themselves are facing. They need your endorsement, which you have to give, which we do even today at home, at office, at work, everywhere we do this endorsement. So we will continue doing. We always go back to our leaders, our mentors, our seniors for helping us tell them, is this right? And they tell us yes and no, or they give us some corrective measures. But that's the way it is. It's up to you how much you can put that confidence and build that confidence for your tier 2, tier 3 people. And size of the firm doesn't matter. In fact, smaller the size, much faster and easier it is to build confidence. Larger the firm, much more difficult because the interaction time is limited. And it's more process driven there. So you don't even give them a time to look at improving the process. You just say, "अरे time नहीं है, ये process follow करो और return file कर दो."
Fine. Yeah, very well answered, sir. So there is one more question in relating to the earlier one. How can a CA firm empower mid-level managers to take ownership in client relationship while ensuring quality and consistency? I think majorly you have answered. If you want like to add
So I
something.
just want to add one more point when you mention about quality and consistency. Using processes and technologies will bring policy and consistency. So, processes and technology will bring that improvement. Uh, that is required. It helps you bridge some of those gaps. So quality chahiye, timely delivery chahiye, with the ownership leadership, bring some process and systems, put some checks or checklist in place. So that confidence building is from the checklist. We all prepare FAQs. Remember our good old days, FAQs on subjects. That's how you get confidence in delivery. The problem statements are answered there.
Right. So the one question is, can you share example of data-driven insights that have helped CA firms strengthen their positioning as a strategic advisor to clients?
I gave one example. Uh, a client who was doing audit. I'm going to share my screen here. So a client who was doing audit, they offered data-driven insights reports using business intelligence tools for audit clients. So audit khatam ho gaya, rotation se bahar aa gaye, but they knew the client systems and processes so well. They knew the client business so well that they started doing analytics for the clients. Business analytics is what they started selling to the client.
Saumil bhai, one more point that you discuss about the CRM. Uh, so as a small firm, uh, nobody believes in small firm or medium-sized firm. Nobody believes in the CRM. So can you try to, or can you elaborate what is CRM is there and how this help the firms to grow and develop the practice into this
Sure.
little bit more?
Thank you. Thank you, Paras bhai. Really appreciate your question. That is the pain for every firm, small or large, Paras bhai. Means you know my journey, Paras bhai, and every firm I have implemented a CRM. CRM becomes your tool in today's world for not just client acquisition, but also client relationship management. And you don't need a CRM system. Simple Excel. I'll tell you, 6 columns: name of the client, name of the company, stroke group, our service, current service provided, current revenue, last meeting done, and actions. 6 column बना के रखो. Every time you interact, put the details there. That is your Bible. You want me to repeat it? Name of the client. इसमें if there are 3 names, then 3 XOs, 3 XOs तीनों का नाम आ जाएगा. Name of the company or group, because that will be important for if it's a part of a group. Second column. Third column is the current services you are providing. Fourth column is the current revenue you have from these services you are providing. Fifth column, last meeting, whatever the interaction was, synopsis of those discussion. Sixth column, actions, remarks, if any. Date, whatever the date is, that's it. So by keeping this as a simple, and it's not Excel, you can put it in Word, you can put it in PowerPoint, the format is yours. But if you look at these clients and you every 3 months you have a check-in, these are my 50 clients, I'm going to see क्या बात हुआ था, क्या है, और अब मेरे को क्यों जाना है, why do I want to go to them again, what is the agenda. You are all set and you know what is happening with your customer. So a CRM helps you not just, and it's there in the screen also, the first point that we spoke about. CRM helps you build and track your service lines to client touchpoints. It gives you visibility and accountability of what is there and what more you want. As a partner of the firm, it will help you take some decisions on the relationship and the development you want with the client. If you have something that comes in a shorter, smaller version of client overview and the relationship overview, that is your CRM sheet. Whether you call it a larger CRM package, which will give you an account management sheet, or you come with a simple Excel and it or a simple Word document which gives you your client overview. So this is how it functions for you.
Yeah. There is one question in chat box. What steps can a CA firm take to attract international clients or accounting outsourcing without opening a foreign offices?
So that's a larger piece because you will have to budget for your travel and to build confidence. Though people use a lot of uh, tools and what you call processes as digital marketing and others to develop the client penetration or the client lead generation matrices. But end of the day, what you really want to build is simple go to client in their marketplace. So if you want to generate outsourcing leads, if you want to generate outsourcing driven work, you will have to travel into those marketplaces. And when you are traveling to the marketplaces, you will first meet your 5 friends. From 5 friends, you'll meet 5 firms. From 5 firms, you will meet few clients, and that's how you will generate. But you will have to keep meeting a lot of people and develop that market intelligence. And no harm in asking your fellow other firms, okay, what went well or how did things go well for them. I think a lot of us professionals help each other as what happened for us and what worked for us.
Yeah. There's one question. What strategies have you found most effective in cross-selling services to existing clients without it feeling like a sales push to them?
Can you just repeat the question again?
Yeah, the question is what strategies you found most effective in cross-selling services to existing clients without they feeling like it's a sale push.
So, a very good question, I must say, and it's most relevant in today's world. So, when you do a check in with the client, or when you meet a client every 3 months, 6 months, you will talk about some things that you are doing, and you will talk about some things, the client will talk about some things that they are doing. In this interaction, you will either realize that there is a product or a service or a solution or an area which you can help the client because it is their pain point, or if you have recently launched a, say for example, GST reconciliation tool, you can tell the client, look, 3 of my clients in your industry are using, or in your kind of business are using this GST tool. Do you want to evaluate? This is how it is helping you. So only by interaction and not by push marketing and sending long emails with attachments and brochures and presentations. Don't do that. Take a cup of tea, sit down with him, tell them what work you're doing and what is working for you as a firm. So Paras bhai, if I ask you, in last 6 months, what areas of service did you really do well? Or which area of service did your firm do well? Or if I tell you that Paras bhai, अभी market में क्या नया product solution चल रहा है? कुछ टेक्नोलॉजी टूल आपको नया दिख रहा है. So these are common questions that have come up in interactions, and these are questions which lead to queries, proposals, and then client more work. So simple answer, check-ins, casual interactions, but keep those agendas in mind. Keep in mind what was discussed last time. Keep in mind what services you've already delivered. Keep in mind what is happening in their industry. Understand a little bit of it. Google a little bit of that industry. Say, for example, the client is from the gem and jewelry industry. See what is the new, what is happening now with AI, Chat GPT. You can say what are the trends and analysis of the gem and jewelry market in India. They will give you some insights. You will see there is a lot of transaction. You'll see a lot of this, lot of that. So use those pointers not to go and sell to the client, but when the client texts, you recall, you relate, and you tell him कि मैंने भी ऐसा कुछ पढ़ा था, ये recent news article में ये लिखा था. So you relate to the client and you tell him.
Okay. Mm. So the one question is for firms operating in highly competitive markets, what are the what are the practical first steps to move from being a service provider to becoming a trusted advisor?
So in the highly competitive market, the way to move from a simple compliance driven firm to an advisory firm is to first of all tell the client that you have been working as an advisory firm. You have to go and tell the client that you are an advisory firm and not just a compliance firm, and give them some examples of this is what you've done where, without naming the client sometimes. So, typically I had used this last year or a few years ago a lot on family offices, where the family offices were getting formed after the pandemic. A lot of families woke up and said that we should have a structure in place and we should develop family offices. So when I met certain families, I used to tell them that it's better to and good to put a structure in place, which is a family office. So the investment is regulated, monitored, well governed, and the proceeds are very well clearly distributed in the family in the right kind of manner, because the family office brings that structure and discipline in place. तो इसे सोमिल भाई ये आप बोल रहे हो मगर ये ऐसा है. ऐसे देखो, अभी अभी एक मीडिया एंटरटेनमेंट इंडस्ट्री में लार्ज सेलिब्रिटी है, उनके लिए ये पूरा स्ट्रक्चर इस तरह सेट किया है हमने, and this is how a family office is working with for that particular part of the issue. Recently we did something like this for a singer, again a upcoming singer who's become a celebrity today. So we gave examples like this, and that's how that person could relate to the why this kind of a structure is required, or why this kind of a entity is required for going forward. We did not name the customer because as professionals we don't name our customers, we just give a perspective.
Thank you. There is a one question in chat box. What should be the mindset while deciding whether cater to a mass audience or cater to a curated market?
Now that depends on your priority. If you want to do GST compliances, and if you have a technology tool, you can go all over the world, all over India, because it's technology, it's digitally marketed, it's a commodity. Whether somebody wants to file one GSTR return or 10 GSTR returns because he's got 10 entities, तुम्हारा price is per GSTR return. So it depends what kind of service you want to deliver. If you can make it a commodity, then you go all around and use digital platforms. If it is a specific service, which you know it's advisory in nature, needs personalized attention and detailing, then you have to go to curated marketplace. You can't go everywhere.
Yeah, true. Uh, so there is last question from me. Uh, are there any metrics or indicators for measuring the health of client relationship in CA practice?
Here you go. Figure out which box you are in. मैंने आपको पहले ही दे दिया है. Without putting numbers, so subject matter expert is 0 to 2, affiliated is 0 to 4, valuable is 0 to 6, and trusted is 0 to 8. You can never get a 10 with a client relationship.
Yeah, that was helpful. And
And you have the slides, so you can make it a PDF and share it with your members.
yeah,
I'm okay with that.
sure. We will share it. So if any participants have any questions, they can unmute themselves and ask.
Saumil bhai,
Yes,
you
Paras bhai.
said one point that there are special agencies who work to understand the rating of the firm, rating of the partner, rating of the team members. Uh, but as such, when you at the date one, if you want to know your firm's rating or your firm partner's rating or your team's rating with the client, we may not require to appoint such agencies as such, but we may have some independent person in the team who can start sending the emails to the client. Can you throw some light on this type of things?
Yes. So again, Paras bhai, good question. So there are two angles to it. First of all, you can't do this for your audit clients. The institute guidelines won't allow you to, because you're taking feedback. Yeah, you're taking customer feedback, which as an institute guidelines, you would not be allowed to do it if it's a statutory audit client. Uh, because you're going and asking a client what is good and what is not good. Okay, so that is not fair from the auditor point of view. Uh, so this is for non-audit function, really speaking. Please understand non-attestation functions is where you can benchmark, and you can appoint a neutral person from your organization, typically driven by a BD or sales or marketing person can do that. You can appoint a third party person because that brings neutrality for your client to interact. Most common today is to have Google Forms where a client on a no-name basis fills up data. So you share the Google Form with 5 of your clients and you will get 5 Google Forms in return. And you send 50 and you get 30 responses. So you benchmark yourself with the 30 responses. So it is possible, it is allowed to see what is working, what is not working. This is typically a Western theory that works a lot. In India, this NPS score is driven a lot by uh, larger consulting or larger advisory organizations. They do a lot of these NPS scores.
So, as a firm, we always provide attestation and non-attestation service to the clients. So, can we take feedback for non-attestation services from the client?
100% yes, because you're not profiling yourself in any manner.
So, when we take this uh, feedback, what are broad pointers or very high level points what we should ask our clients?
So, Paras bhai, there are quite a few questions that you can ask. It can go into 100 questions also, it depending how much time you have with your client. But say, for example, you can get yourself rated on quality. That how did you find our quality of service? How did you find our timeliness of delivery? how did you see proactiveness from our side? How proactive was our team working with you on the assignment? How able was our team to understand your business and your areas of work for us to deliver what we were going to deliver? How good our team was in interacting with your team? I can go on and on with questions, Parasbhai. It can be really length and breadth, but to give you a perspective, talk about service, timeliness, delivery, process, methodology, approach. So these are basic principles of asking the feedback. What more we could have done better, or how we could have done better. So there can be subjective questions. There can be objective, where you can just give ratings, or you can just select yes, no, true, false, 1 to 5 ratings. I can share with you on one-to-one if you have something in mind. I can build up some questions for you, Parasbhai.
Sure, we can work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there are no more questions left. So I request CA Jatin Furia to propose a very well deserved vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of CBOC, I consider it a great privilege to deliver the vote of thanks for today's enriching webinar on Catalyst of Growth, Building Next Generation CFR. First and foremost, a heartfelt thank you to Saumil Bhai for taking out his busy schedule time to share his deep insights and valuable experiences with us. Your session was not only informative but truly inspiring. You have given us a fresh perspective on how chartered accountancy as a profession is evolving and what steps we must take to stay ahead in a rapidly changing business environment. Your thoughts on and embracing technology, building a client centric culture, and fostering innovation within CA firms have sparked new ideas and reflections among all of us. You have provided a much needed blueprint for growth, and we are truly grateful to your generosity in sharing your knowledge. We also thank all the participants who joined us today and made this session interactive and meaningful with your questions and engagement. A special note of appreciation to organizing team for putting everything together so seamlessly. Once again, thank you, Samil Bhai, for being a catalyst of thought and action for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just want one more point. If any one of you have any questions coming tomorrow, day after, my slides are here. So my email ID and my WhatsApp mobile number is here. So happy to answer to your questions or queries if you have going forward. Thank you
And
again.
one more,
Parasbhai.
one more point. Since we are organizing this series of talks are there, we also request all the participants to share with the association their feedback on the topic and what you like to hear, so that we can bring many more things on the platter, which will help you to grow and nurture your practice uh, on this. So maybe you can complete. You are saying something. I cut it off in between.
No. I was just telling you that uh, Parasbhai knows me well. So you can always post a question to him. I'll be more than happy to answer.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Saumil Bhai. Thank you, Paras Bhai. Thank you, all the participants. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very
Chalo.
much,
Bye everyone.
Paras and everybody. Thank
Bye.
you very much. Thank you
Bye.
again.
Bye.